around here. Screech owls can come in two different colors. This is the red or rufous color. They also can be found as a gray. Here in southern Illinois, they're almost always red. On the East Coast, they're almost always gray. For every 25 reds we get, we might get a gray popping in. So they're not as commonly gray here, but on the East Coast, they're almost always gray. This is a full grown. This one is probably, if I remember my timing, she's coming on her, or he, we aren't really sure on this one, coming on our third year. This bird is a full grown. You can see he's got a blue eye. He came in with baby fuzz on his head, so we know that he was a youngster. And both eyes have blue haze on it. The one eye did clear. The other eye has not. We're assuming it was a congenital defect, and as long as mom and dad were still feeding, he did fine, but when it came time for all those youngsters to start moving around on the branches, it's called branching out, where it comes from, then he no longer could stay on those branches because he couldn't see where he was going. In his environment, his cage that we have him in, he can see where when I put a dead mouse in for him, but he would be unable to track more than he can handle. Now, screech owls, as I said, they are the smallest common owl we have around here. Every once in a great while, there is an occasional sighting of a saw-whet owl, which is smaller than this even, but it is very rare that they pop up. This is the common one. These also are cavity nesters. Again, they take to that same cavity. No, you can't pet any of them, sweetheart.
Do you have a name for him?
Well, yes we do. Again, not everybody's going to get this, but since he's basically blind in one eye and can't see out of the other, this is Mr. Magoo. Mr. Magoo. You can see him. See? So, some people find that to be a little bit of black humor, but this particular species will, as I said, live in a cavity, a nest box, and the same one that the kestrel will live in. If you just put it at different sections, different heights, different habitats, whether you get a kestrel or whether you get the screech owl. Now the difference is, though, it's not like some of these migratory birds that will be floating through your backyard as they migrate through. Sometimes if you put a nest box up for these guys, it may take a couple of years for someone to stumble across your box and find it. So just because you put a box up and no one takes to it right away, it may be just because they aren't migrating, like I said, and so they're not scoping out real estate as rapidly as some of the songbirds, for example. These guys, if you're out in your backyard, you can tell if you have a screech owl by vocalization, on all the owls actually. The screech owl has a real high-pitched horse whinny kind of squeal that they make. Very loud. Most people cannot believe it came from a little bird of this size. Huh. But they also make a secondary noise when the pair are just trying to converse with each other, or the young. They're trying to, when those babies are branching out, sometimes they have to just come in if they've got a mouse and vocalize so that the babies know they're there, so that they can figure out where the babies have hopped off to. And they'll make a different noise that many of us have heard but didn't recognize as an owl. And it's a little trill, almost sounds like an insect. Kind of little noise. Not like that. That's the kestrel screaming in there, yeah. But that little trill is frequently mistaken for as an insect noise. Many times people will have the screech